previously on Queen City Supers, Season 2 has been off to a bit of an interesting start. After your quote-unquote defeat of Doppelganger, the once-named Queen City 3 took some time to delve into some personal projects in the quiet month that followed, and then during a class, a challenge was issued, and the mention of a tournament of sorts, and within 5 seconds of that challenge being announced, you found one person who looked like they were hoping to not be noticed or didn't know if they wanted to be noticed or not, and adopted them into your group, and now they're your best friend. And that would be Highwire, who is the child of not one but 2 supervillains.
No, that's not too important.
Who has left the circus to become a superhero at the Hero Institute, and will do whatever it takes to avoid ever running into Vector Kane and the Inked Angel again. Especially the 2 of them together. There was a bit of a fight with Hubris and his team that included Hubris being thrown through the ceiling, and Kid Phoenix realizing that not only does he have telekinesis, but he can also manipulate matter, which is unexpected.
Fresh and new.
Yeah, and when you mentioned it to the Phoenix, his response was, "We'll have a conversation back at the Roost."
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
I believe Scarlet Sentinel took Highwire over to practice some self-defense stuff, while Glider was called off to help with the speedster rescue situation, and we'll get to what she's doing in a little bit. So, Kid Phoenix, do you go back to the Roost almost immediately, or what do you do? How long does it take you to head back?
I like that I've really established a lot of different ways of navigating the city that are not at all practical, but I think I'll just go straight back. I don't have anywhere I need to stop or anything specific that requires my presence, so I've put off this time long enough. It's time.
The elevator ride isn't quite as long as it was the last time we followed Kid Phoenix up the elevator, but it's still awkwardly long. And what do we see in the thought bubbles as Kid Phoenix is in this awkwardly long elevator ride by himself?
Okay. Part of it is pretty simple. I've put this off for a long time. I've been kind of on the fence about how to trust my dad with all of this and understand where all of these conspiracies seem to be leading. And the other part of me is very much of the mind of he knew the whole time, right? Or something along those lines. Like the way that he recognized something when I mentioned I had this new power made me think that he was holding out on me, which is not... Before I'd kind of invented reasons for him to think that maybe he'd held out on me, but this is kind of confirmation of it. So as much as I'm hoping this rekindles some trust, I'm hesitant, because what else might he be hiding from me?
A lot of doubts and a lot of questions, because maybe, yeah, you should have asked, you should have said something before now, but he could have said something too. There's a lot that he hasn't told you, and you're past the point of old enough to know. You are past the point of being old enough to understand whatever it is that he hasn't been telling you. So when you get up to the Roost, where do you go to wait for him?
I'd rather stay in an open space. Yeah. Is there... Oh,
there's
ahead,
the public-facing visitors' living room, and then there's the actually regularly used living room, which is what we saw after the doppelganger fight. And there's probably a nice open kitchen area and some other places. There's a lot in the Roost.
I think I'll do the more private one, but I'll sit near the entrance in case I want to storm away. And the fact that I'm even considering it is even funnier, but yeah, no, I want the opportunity to leave if I need to. Not that I think my dad would stop me.
Yeah, so you're waiting there for probably a good half hour or so, because Phoenix probably had some business to attend to before he came back home, and as I said, it takes forever to get up that... Well, actually, no, he's able to fly, so he comes in a different area. Felix comes in. He still has the suit on, but he's taken his mask off, and he sees you sitting in one of the chairs that's nearest to the elder door to get out, and he sits down next to you, and you notice he has something that looks like a scrapbook under his arm. Where do you want me to start?
I know when I started to get old enough to kind of ask about my parents, I put my foot down pretty hard that those aren't my parents. I didn't meet them. They didn't raise me. You're my parent. And I did not want to know. But I think too many weird things have been going on that I have to know something. So, I mean, most powers are passed down. Some of them manifest for other reasons, or because they're connected to some artifacts, or they learn it over time, or radiation. But I always figured mine were passed down because I wasn't in any accidents as a kid. So, what's going on with me?
Roll mundane. See what you glean from, like, the way he reacts to what you're saying.
My most neutral stats.
Sometimes your dice decide to be nice. Other times you completely miss a...
12! Woo! Oh, sorry. Yeah, a straight 12 because I don't have any bonuses or anything.
That's still really, really
Nice.
good. You can read this man like a book. You can read him like a
For
book.
once!
Finally!
Oh, it's all that practice in a mirror. It's finally time.
You have finally unlocked the mystery that is your father.
How do I talk to my dad? I don't know, but I figured it out.
One of the biggest things that you notice is specifically when you say talked about how you didn't want to know they weren't your parents. There is this sense of sadness and understanding because it's like he understands where you're coming from, but it also makes him really sad that you were in a situation where that's where you were at. And he just holds out this scrapbook, which there are plenty of like other scrapbooks and like memorabilia just around the house from like people that he's worked with and so forth. You've never seen this one before. And he just flips it open. Your parents were part of the team that I worked with around the time Aegis was founded. Shows you this one picture and you see a younger Phoenix in the center, and they're in their superhero clothes. It looks like it's like something from a news clipping. There's another person you recognize in the picture is the woman that you saw him talking with back at the Institute not that long ago. Next to her is a girl that looks very similar to her. You see Stormcry. And then you see a man and a woman, and he says, "That is your dad. He was known as the Magician. And that's your mom. She's the alchemist. Her names were Santiago and Isabella. She had the ability to change things by touch. We think she got it from her mom, who could change the state of her body based off of things that she could touch. And Santi had telekinesis just like you."
I don't know. I didn't think it would be this easy. Like, there they are. They made me. They have both of my powers, and they have some of my powers. What happened to them?
That's the thing I'm not really sure about. Last thing I remember before they disappeared was there was an attack on the place they were using as a base of operations, trying to finish taking down a group known as the Second Void. There was an attack,
Okay.
and Izzy was kidnapped. I was hurt in the attack, so I wasn't able to go with Santi and Sierra. Copycat points to the girl standing not the one that you saw, the one that looks like her. They were the only ones who were able to try and go after her. And they were never seen again. I don't know what happened. I think there might be a couple of people who do know, but that information has been kept on a need-to-know basis for one reason or another. This was just a little bit before you were born. And I actually did see Izzy one time after that. It's when she asked me to look after you. And she said she had to deal with something, and then I never saw her again either.
So, I guess I knew them? I mean, for what it's worth, I was a baby. I didn't know them, but they're not dead? You kind of left it vague. I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess you don't know. Some people know, but where were they going that they couldn't take me?
Your dad and Sierra, they were going somewhere that was potentially very, very dangerous, and you weren't born at the time, and I don't know where Izzy was going. She said something about people following her. I don't think it was related to Second Void activity. That all fell apart after that night. I'm still not sure what happened there, where they were going. The location information got scrambled. I know someone is working on fitting the pieces together, but whoever covered the tracks did a really good job.
Okay. So that's it? They're just gone?
Until we find a way to find them.
Yeah, I guess learning this as a child would have been pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
We don't know. And this is kind of what's been weighing on me the whole time. I was expecting one of their powers to be like the shadow construct and stuff, and they weren't. And I kind of have suspected that the whole time.
Nope.
And I go, I don't really know how to show this. Mom's power is new. Dad's power was the old one. Would there ever be a reason for me to have a one in between?
Not that I know of, unless there might have been a latent ability on your mom or your dad's side that didn't manifest. It's possible.
Okay. And all the Second Void stuff, they keep coming back up. That was what Doppelganger came back for. That's everything going on. Do you think we might be closer to finding them?
I don't think he has ever talked to you about the Second Void before today. You first learned about it in a vision, and then did research.
I have revealed my hand. Oops.
So there's definitely a look of surprise and some confusion. He's just like, how are you familiar with the Second Void? How did you become familiar with them?
We were doing some research after fighting Doppelganger, and the name kept showing up.
We're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on there. They haven't been active since that night, really. I mean, we knew that there were still some who believed in whatever cause they were trying to bring about, I don't remember a lot of it. I try not to think about that, but I've definitely been asking around more and digging into old notes. They're not exactly becoming active, but there have been some stirrings, and we're not sure why.
Okay. Did Doppelganger say anything? I know, from what I can tell, they risked everything just to be able to talk to you.
Doppelganger has been able to share quite a bit of information. They have been a bit of a cheeky asshole the entire time while doing it, but that's just their personality, honestly.
Right. I caught that with the fight. Also, didn't know I existed, so that was neat. Wherever they were was probably really far away from here.
Yeah, I think they needed to disappear after everything happened. Since no one really knew what happened with Sierra, they just Doppelganger just dropped off. But they have been keeping an eye out on anything related to the Second Void and anything related to people interested in the Fabled Five, which is the group your parents were a part of.
Okay. Yeah, this is a lot less intense than I thought it was going to be. I was really prepared for the worst, which I guess I should still be, because there's one more thing.
Why would you be prepared for the worst?
I had Dad's power. I developed Mom's power, but that's not the only one I have. It started a good chunk of time ago, but it really started to crystallize when I met with the team, and now it's showing up more and more in ways that are a little scary. And I'm gonna try to manifest the construct hand.
Get me in the roll.
So I take a step back, and I'm gonna try that. Oh boy, a 3. I hope the other roll is good. No, it's bad. So my freak is +2, which gets me a solid 6. So still a failure.
The hands don't show up. I think instead what happens is describe how you're trying to show them. What are you trying to do with them?
That's interesting. I feel like there's a chunk, like a part of me that I can access that has all of my weird Doom stuff going on. So whenever I'm trying to access those, I'm kind of tapping at something in my interiority that for now has just kind of been this void that kind of keeps me out. But occasionally, whenever I'm stressed or emotionally like compromised, it does flare out in very intense ways. So I think that I'm trying to tap at it to let something go. But the fact that my parents are just missing and might be alive, but you know, they didn't seem like they were hating me or anything, or that they abandoned me. They just, something happened and it was too dangerous, and they might have died in action, which is a lot, I guess, less heavy than I expected it to be. I just don't have the emotions where I normally would to access the hands and stuff.
So you try and tap into that, and it's almost like it's gone, or maybe it's hiding. You go to tap at it, and you know it's not like gone forever gone, but it's not there.
Oh. That's new? For a while I could make constructs. It's not happening now, and it would be a weird thing to lie about, so you'll have to take my word for it. They were sort of shadowy. I thought they were an extension of my telekinesis before, but they're solid, and they're a little frightening, and they're different than my usual powers. And they're not manipulating matter the way that my mom would. And I don't know, it would let me do stuff that I normally couldn't do. I could access powers and do way more powerful things that I normally wasn't able to do. And sometimes I would see things, and they hadn't happened yet, but they were true. I guess that's that. I feel like it'd be a lot more dramatic if I could show you, and then whatever I've been dreading for months and months would happen, but instead it's not here. which is scarier. I expected it to be here so that you could tell me what was happening to me, and I don't know what's happening to me.
Like, very careful, like, hand on shoulder. It's gonna be okay. Maybe it could have just been a weird interaction between your parents' abilities manifesting in a way that doesn't fit with how any of them typically work. And maybe now that you are fully tapped into the matter manipulation, maybe that's just like it's fully manifested now. But if you think that there's something going on, I know some people who can check. I've got some friends who've done research into a couple of different areas that might be able to help you start to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
And with that 12 that you got earlier, he does believe this is fully possible, very much possibly an explanation. But there's a small part of him that's afraid it's something else, and he's trying to ignore that.
Oh, okay.
It's like this little voice in his head, a little part of him, and he's not looking at that part of him that says, you know, this is something else.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna pull out some of those moves that we have access to playing this game.
Okay.
I opened up my basic moves just for this. I would like to pierce the mask!
Give me the roll.
Hey, that's still not terrible. It's an 8.
All right. Yeah, you get to ask one.
How could I get the Phoenix to tell me the truth? That, like, final little nugget of doubt that is living in his brain.
He is not going to voice that thought out loud until he knows for sure that it's even a possibility. Because it shouldn't be a possibility, but it could be a possibility because there's some things that they didn't fully understand, and it's like this tiny little remote speck of a maybe.
Something's worrying you. And it's not just this. And it's not me getting in trouble. And it's not the weird powers. I know I should trust you, and there's no reason I shouldn't, and it's been ridiculous in my brain to even think that I shouldn't trust you. But what aren't you telling me?
It's a very long story from a long time ago, and I am not sure if what I'm thinking is even related. This could be something else. Strange things happen in the superhero world all the time. I need to check with some people who may have better, clear answers than I do. Because I don't want to say something and scare you and have it be wrong.
And I kind of shift a little bit in my anger. I'm already scared. If you know something and you don't want to tell me, that's fine. But these powers have gotten my friends hurt because I haven't been able to control them the way I thought I could. And sure, now I have moms, and that's great too, because now there's something else that I have to get a handle on. But the hands are something else, and I don't want to leave here upset, because I think we've kind of handled this pretty well.
You've researched into the second void, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you come across any mentions of void matter?
Yeah, that it would mind control people? Or at least that's how it was written out to work.
We know most about the synthetic void matter. We haven't been able to research the original organic stuff as much because we haven't found any, as far as I know. But there's a chance that a couple of months before your father disappeared, there's a chance he might have been exposed to something similar to organic void matter. It's not something we know how would have been able to detect. It behaves differently from anything that we've seen before. We don't even really have a good way to quantify it, but there's a possibility that he was exposed prior to you being conceived.
Oh. Okay.
Well, he was exposed. We don't know what that exposure would have led to. He and Doppelganger both were.
Okay. So I got my powers from that. From real void matter, not the mind control-y stuff, the real deep space scary stuff.
Or something like that. Could be maybe there's just an echo left or an impression left on Santi. Don't know for sure, because Doppelganger was in a coma for like half a year before they finally woke up, and we aren't sure. Void matter's well beyond anything I personally understand. I'll need to reach out to Angel Eyes. She is the person who helped us through the most of it. If anyone has answers, it's probably going to be her.
Okay. This void matter stuff, will it hurt people if I don't control it? If I don't... Right now I can't feel it, but that doesn't mean it can't come back, and it has hurt my friends before. And granted, it was small, but it was still enough, and... Should I talk to somebody about it if it's something that intense? I don't think a regular power counselor is gonna help with deep space void stuff.
He still has the hand on your shoulder, like he's trying to help keep you grounded and give you something to keep you from falling apart. I'll see if I can get you in to talk with Doppelganger. They may be able to help provide some answers or get some answers to your questions, and I'll reach out to Angel Eyes, see if we can get her and Mentor in on this.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay though.
Okay.
And I know that was hard. Thank you for trusting me with that. Thank you for telling me.
Okay. I don't know. I'm still scared. If this stuff is as dangerous enough that my dad and mom went missing about it, I just don't want to have anybody I care about get hurt because of something I didn't really decide on.
We will figure this out. We will. You're not going through this alone, and it's going to be okay. Stands up and pulls you into a hug.
I accept the hug. It has been a while since I have kind of established that trust with him, and it's nice to have it back.
You have been listening to Queen City Supers, a graveyard tape-style story using the game Masks. Masks: A New Generation is a superhero role-playing game in which a team of young heroes fights villains, saves lives, and tries to figure out who they are. Featuring Caitlin as Madigan, aka Scarlet Sentinel, the Janus. Jess as Bethany Bertolucci, aka Glider, the Beacon. Ian as Marcus, aka Kid Phoenix, the Doomed. Emily Anderson as Rowan, aka Livewire, the Scion. And Brianna Jean as the Keeper and Producer.